Today, we will speak about something within the subject of Noah, about this topic. A lot of failures in love happen because of two things. The first one, wrong things that people insist on doing. And the second one, the right things that they resist in doing. Let's dive into this topic to understand when God said this to Noah in the flood. After the flood, he said this: "Thus I establish my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. There shall never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth." In other words, God made an alliance with people, with Noah, with his descendants. This includes me, you, all of us, and the whole earth, including the animals. And he has kept this alliance up to now. In other words, he said, "Never again shall there be this. I commit myself that never again would he place upon the earth a flood to destroy all life." God committed himself to not do this again, and he has fulfilled his word until today. And when we deal with the subject of a love life, what do we learn with all of this? We learn the following: that in order to have success in love, you will have to, many times along your life, you will need to also have a never again. That means a moment in which you say to yourself, "I decide to never again do what I did." So in other words, I will stop doing what is wrong, what harms me, what hinders my life. Or also, from today onwards, I will do this which I have not been doing, which is going to do me good. Throughout life, a person who wants to be happy in their love life, she needs to apply this power of commitment that she binds with herself, and if she's married, with the person she's married to.
And many times they put more strength towards what they don't want. So, I don't want a relationship like this anymore. I don't want a man like this, a woman like this. So, they put more strength. It's as if they think that this is a decision, and it's not. Because whether you want or not, the truth is, the fact is that it's what you're going to decide to do about it in regards to people that you know. So you can say like this: I don't want a man that's going to be playing around with me. I want commitment. Okay, yes, you can want. But what's the point of wanting if you don't know how to choose? If you don't make decisions of saying, "I'm not going to give myself to any man that shows up," which is completely different. But people don't give much importance to what they're not going to do anymore. They put more importance to what they don't want. And this many times it becomes more evident because the more that they're always getting into bad relationships, they say, "But I didn't want." For example, I didn't get married to separate. I didn't get married to be separated. But what have you done that's causing this? People don't want to think about what they're doing. They only think like this and what they don't want.
That's the difference between luck and obedience. If the person thinks that someone is happy due to luck, "Oh, you guys got lucky. You're lucky because you found the right person." I wasn't lucky because I didn't find the right person. It's not a matter of luck. It's a matter of obedience. It's a matter of you doing what is right. to not resist doing what is right and stop doing what is wrong. That's what matters. Like Cristiani said, there's no point in saying what you want. Oh, I wanted to marry, I wanted to be happy, to have 2 children, a little dog. There's no point in saying what you want. You have to ask yourself, what do I need to do or stop doing to get where I want? Because your life is a summary of all the choices you have made. So then it's not a summary of all your desires. Life isn't about what you desire. Your life is a result of what you do, of what you plant. You have planted. So then when God spoke, when God made a covenant with Noah and said, I establish a covenant with him, never again will there be a flood, God was placing an ending point, excluding an option that he could continue. He could easily say, Noah, let's see how long this will last, because if things don't get better, I will send another flood. He could have done it. He could have decided that every 1,000 years he would send another flood, right? And by the looks of it, the world needs it. But he decided he would never do it again. He made a decision and he was committed to his word. He put the other option aside, which is what needs to happen for a marriage to turn out right. How many times in a marriage of any couple that you may deem as happy or that got lucky, both of them had to stop doing certain things, abandon certain ways, certain habits that was harmful for the marriage, that annoyed their partner, or they had to adapt a new habit, a new way of being. I remember Cristiani when we made our list, right? When Cristiani asked for a divorce, and then I said, no, I'm not gonna get a divorce from you. I said no, no, I won't give it to you. We're gonna resolve this problem. So an idea that came to mind was, let's make a list, write down what is wrong with me, what you think I need to change, and I will write down what I think you need to change. So we made a list. Cristiani wrote her bullet points about me, and I wrote down mine in regards to her. She wrote down 6 things I needed to change, and I wrote 11 that she needed to change. You can tell who was more problematic in this relationship, no? But now I remember Cristiani that on that list, there was a lot. Actually, all the items on the list started with a verb. They began with an action. And it said, like, never again. We'll never do this again. I don't want that to happen anymore. I will no longer do that anymore. I don't want you to be like that anymore. There were things like these strong, strong words. It wasn't, oh, perhaps. It were suggestions. Oh, let's see if things can get better. No, they were right things that we both knew that in order for this marriage to work, these sort of things could no longer happen with our marriage. I showed my points to Cristiani and she showed hers to me. And we agreed to, we understood, hey, this is doable. I can do what she's asking me to do.
Even though having items there on that list that were part of our personality.
They went against our nature. I remember what you asked from me, which I kept defending myself for 12 years.
And something interesting, Renato, about what God did, because when he decided that he wouldn't do this anymore, he didn't, decide this with conditions. I won't cause a flood anymore if the people, no, he just simply decided, I'm not going to do this anymore. Which is where many people make a mistake, because sometimes they even, make decisions. You decide on certain things in your life. You say, I'm going to do like this. I'm going to be like this. I'm going to start doing this. But that's, sometimes things don't flow right away. You don't see change quick. And then you start to think, see, it didn't work. It didn't work. It was useless. Meaning you go back. You stop doing that. You didn't really make a decision, because when you decided to...
It wasn't a commitment.
change. I decided to change. We really, truly changed. I didn't wait for you to change because many things that I asked Granada to change, I didn't see right away. I didn't see. I remember this. I remember being there, doing my part. And I remember sometimes, because one of the complaints was that we never went out. He never came out with me. He never took me out. And I remember Saturday coming. And again, we had already made the list. He knew that I wanted to go out. It was one of my complaints, but he didn't call me to go out. And I remember on that day that I said, no, but I need to focus on my list. I need to focus on myself, what I need to do. If he's doing it or not, it's his problem. I have to change. So I focused on myself. I focused on myself 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, until suddenly, I would say a month, I saw the result. But I saw results not because I was asking you, look, when are you going to make your list? No, I saw results because he, was missing my complaints.
Yeah, because you gave me the chance to do differently. You allowed me to breathe, gave me initiative to do them. She made the decision of you let me have initiative to do different. And you stopped, charging me one of the things that I have asked you to not, insist on things that you had already spoken, and it had to be for me. She made the decision of what she would no longer do, and I made my decisions. And that's what's important for you to understand about this is the following: that you have the power to decide to stop doing something that harms you or start doing something new that needs to be done in order to change your life. You have this power. It's a power. When we speak about a covenant, we're not saying, I will try. I will do it to see if it works. I will give it a chance for 7 days. This is not it. God decided this here thousands of years ago. Today, up to today, his word remains. He has not changed. So then, when it talks about commitment, what are we talking about? We're talking about you truly using this pact. It's a pact that you have to make with yourself. If you make a decision and say, I will no longer be needy. I will no longer beg for attention. I will no longer curse at my wife, hurt my husband with words. I will no longer speak curse words in my marriage. I will no longer make a big deal about a password on the phone, placing a password. I will allow my wife or my husband have access to it because we are one. We are one flesh, which is what's right in a marriage. What is right? It's not about what they say out there. The right thing inside of a marriage is for you both to have transparency, trust, and you don't build trust with secrets. Pay attention. I will repeat it again. Write it down so you can pass the test. You cannot build trust upon secrets. Trust is built on transparency. So if you decide, I will no longer do this, not anymore. I will no longer get too close to people of the opposite sex. It bothers my wife. It bothers my husband. I will no longer place my career above my marriage, money above my marriage. I will no longer do this. I will do what is just, what's healthy, what contributes to peace in my marriage. If you make a covenant with yourself about this, you have this power. Is in your hands. In the same way, you also have the power to continue being stubborn, hard-headed, and continue insisting on what has not worked for you. This power is in your hands. You can make this type of decision, but you will have to reap its fruit. So the question is, when God said, never again shall there be, when he said, never again will there be a flood, when he said, the question for you is, What do you need to decide that they will no longer be in your life? Never again shall this be in your marriage. Never again shall this be in your behavior. Never again shall there be inside of you. You have to decide, what do you need to cut off, to rip out and remove from your life? Perhaps you need to decide, never again will I lie. Perhaps you need to say, never again will I watch pornography. Never again. Never again will I prioritize other things in my life above my spouse. What do you need to decide to make a pact of stopping or start doing? What do you need to do? You know yourself. God confirms in you as you're watching and listening to this word. God confirms inside of you what you need to do. You know it. But you have to stop resisting the right thing you need to do and stop doing what is wrong, which has only harmed you. Wake up. And something else, Christiani. The Bible says that he didn't just give the word, but he put the rainbow. That's the rainbow in the clouds. He told Noah, apart from today, I put it as a symbol. It will be a symbol that I will never again send a flood to destroy the earth. So then, why did God give a sign? Why a sign? Because he wanted his pact to be visible. Every time it rains and you see the rainbow, those who know this word, there's people who don't know about it, but the word, the Bible shows us in Genesis how it was, what the rainbow means. When we look at the sky, we remember this sign from God. So there is a visible thing to mark the word of God, which God gave all of us. So what does this mean to us? It means the following. It's not enough for a person to say, I will change. I will stop doing that. I will start doing this. It's not enough. There must be a sign. There has to be a visible proof that your promises did not come out of thin air. They left the paper, but took physical form, especially when your spouse needs to see that, considering your history of mistakes and of so many broken promises, he needs to see a sign that what you're saying is for real this time.
Yeah, and the person, they put a lot of strength to what they say, what they do. I already said I'm going to change. I already said, and everyone says that they're gonna change. And so what? What you say doesn't have strength as long as you don't do something about what you're saying, okay? So there's no point for you to keep saying, no, I already said that I wasn't going to talk to that woman. I already said. But what are you showing to prove to your spouse, for example, that you're not talking anymore to her? So sometimes you disappear. You don't answer your phone. You hide your cell phone. So what you're showing, even if you're not talking to the woman, but you're not showing transparency. So you say things, and that's where many couples, they start having difficulty to reconstruct their marriage after a betrayal, because there is no signs of repentance. The person goes and, cheats, and then they say, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. I'm going to forgive you, but so are you going to betray me again? No, never again. Okay. How am I going to know this? How am I going to know? How am I going to know that you're not going to cheat on me again? So, for the person to rebuild this trust, they need to prove that they're being transparent the whole time. So, they leave their cell phone. Look, that woman, she tried to call me again. I blocked her. So, you say everything. You show that you feel bad for what you did. You show your change. So, instead of, giving a lot of importance many times, even to many words, people speak and speak, give more importance to what you're going to do about what you're saying.
To the signs that you give.
Because we want to see results, just like you want to see results in people. You, for example, you have faith in God, but your faith in God is you just speak. You don't see the result. Why? You need to see the result of faith. Everything what we say that we have, we need to see it. It's not enough for you to just be saying something. You know that that's empty talk. So why in relationships, many people give more importance to what they say. They say, I already know about that. Yes, you know, but you don't do it. Oh, what you're teaching, I already learned that. That's old school. I already know that for a long time. Yes, you know it, but you're not doing it. So it's not enough to know, to speak. What matters is what you do. I don't know how I can express this more. What matters is what you do, what you show with your life. That's more important than what you say. When God made this alliance, when he created this rainbow in the sky, he wanted to make it clear that, us, like him, we were going to remember this covenant that he made.
And he didn't need to. Let's remember here that God is God. He doesn't really have to place any sign. His word is enough. He doesn't lie. God is God. Even though he was God, he wanted to leave a sign. Imagine us. Imagine yourself. So the people that say, oh, but I know. Sorry. You don't know, okay? Because if you knew, you would do. Knowing doesn't mean you have knowledge. Knowing means doing. It's showing that you know, that you have capacity and the willingness to do it. It's not enough for you to know that a husband has to be faithful if you're not being faithful. You actually don't know a thing. You have information, but if you don't know it because you don't do it. The desire to have a third person still exists. You don't resist it. So you don't know. And as long as you are not sincere about your reality, your life will not change. It won't change. There's no point in promising, no, let's do things differently, which is what happens with many couples. Many couples separate, fight, get back together, separate again. And then when they get together again, they say, let's try once again. Let's do things differently. Let's give it another chance. But you're going to give it another chance without changing what separated you in the first place. You want to give it another chance because you miss each other. You miss them. Feelings. You have the desire to be happy, but you didn't change. You didn't give any sign of any change. You're going to go back. You're going to get back together without a sign of change. What's the point? There must be a sign. There must be something practiced. The word alone is not proof enough. That's the truth. The word itself is not valid. There must be an action, including some of you who are single, looking for a person, and that person there on social media, she paints a pretty picture of what she's like, and you fall for it. You fall in love with the image, the picture, with the information about the person by the person's idle talk, but where's the sign? Where are the signs? You need to see. You need to know before you give in to a person. Before you marry someone, you have to look at the signs. This is what we say divorce is. The majority of divorces begin during the dating stage. The person saw signs during the dating phase, and or either they didn't pay attention or they pretended like they didn't see and married anyway, hoping to resolve it later on. You have to look at the signs. The person that you're dating, that you want to marry, that you're getting to know, what are the signs they have given? What do they talk about? What are the signs? Pay attention to the signs. You who are single, you don't find anybody, You say, man, I can't seem to find a girlfriend. I can't seem to find a boyfriend. I can't find anyone who's interested in me. I don't know why. I don't understand why no one becomes interested in me. Why do you think? What kind of signs have you let off? What are the signs that your life gives out
No comment.
to the market of single people? Or not?
Sometimes it's the worst signs, right? First of all, because the person is always talking bad about the opposite sex. So for him to say all women are the same, for her to say men are all the same, and the person they want the opposite sex, but they talk bad about him. There's also the people that say, oh, I don't know why it doesn't work out with me. I don't know why I can't find anyone. But when are they going to find someone? They are busy 24 hours a day. They don't have time to have someone. They live, a busy life. It's the career, the studies, their appearance, the friends. And the person is busy the whole week, very busy, and then they complain, I don't know why I can't find someone. Because you're not looking, my friend.
But you go to this person's social media, right? Because nowadays, if you become interested in someone, you go to their social media. So their profile picture is a cat, right? A cat, a little bird, a tree. It's a real tiny picture. I don't know. So something that the signs that she shows on her social media are signs that show what? Things you're saying without opening your mouth all the time. Your life shows signs. Your behavior shows signs. Your attitudes and interests show signs. Are you prepared? Does someone fit in your life in this moment? So you then ask yourself, why don't people become interested in me? Well, look at the signs your life has been emitting. So there's no point in saying, oh, I'd like to have a boyfriend. Good. If you want to get a boyfriend, start by giving off the right signs. This is what you have to do. Make a covenant with yourself. Use this power that God has given to each one of us. What he left registered down in the scriptures is not only for our knowledge, it's so that we may apply it in our lives. So, to summarize, God gives you power to stop doing the things that have harmed you, wrong things, and to do the right things that you need in order to change. You need to. In order to make it happen, you have to take an advantage of a covenant. What's a covenant? A pact, an unbreakable pact. When you place your word, you swear upon your word. When you swear, promise, place your word. I decide to make a covenant that never again I will do this. That's it. You swore. It's registered. Not in the registry, but on the altar. You register this before the altar of God, so then you pledge your word. You can do this. Oh, but what if I can't? Then you're not decided. If for you another option exists, it's because you haven't reached the final point, the limit of your pain. Because if you were at the limit of your pain, or like how we arrived, when my marriage reached the limit, when she said, I want a divorce, I understood the following. If I don't change, if I don't stop doing certain things or start doing other things that I need to do in order for this marriage to work, my marriage will end. I had to understand this. I reached my limit. And when you are at the limit of your pain, you'll do anything. This is the reality. So if you say, well, if I make the promise that I will change, but then I don't change, you haven't reached the limit of your pain. You can bear suffering a bit more. You can suffer more. You can suffer longer being single. You can suffer a bit more in your marriage. You can end another marriage and get married again. You can suffer more. So my advice to you, continue suffering. Continue suffering. And then when you reach the limit of your pain, then you will understand this power here of saying, never again. It's finished. It ends today, right here and now. I change God will help me. I unite my faith, make a covenant with the heavens, with myself, that never again I will do this from today onward. Do you accept this? You can make this covenant right now, wherever you are.